We did a mural for some of the subway stations. And from that moment, I just knew I wanted to do arts. I wasn't sure how I was going to navigate doing arts, but I knew I wanted to do arts in any capacity I went to school for.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited to visit with you today, Kizzie, is because the fact that you went from art to entrepreneurship is fantastic. I am so excited that you're here to share because I know so many artists, right? Dancers, singers, and a few of them were able to make the transition to entrepreneurship. And a lot of them had to kind of keep that in the background. So tell me a little bit about your history and your background and how you got to where you are today.
I started off doing arts when I was a kid. I always just had a very big passion for anything art related. So it started off with visual arts, and then it like transitioned into fashion, and then it transitioned into theater work and performing arts. It tried to translate into dance, but I just don't think I have that skill, and that's okay. But I do have a love. I do have a love for music, so that's lovely. Um, but yeah, I've always been super passionate about the arts, and I started when I was in high school. A little bit before high school, I went to an auditioned arts program in high school, and it wasn't like super competitive, but it was something that I had to like put my mind to and make a portfolio and do all these things that I wasn't familiar doing like with doing before. Um, and so, when I was 13, there was an opportunity to work with the city on an art program to paint around in Toronto. And I was put up for the position, and I worked really
At
hard. And
13.
at 13, yeah, I got chosen to
Cool.
yeah, thank you. It was called City on the Move project. They wanted the youth to work together. We did a mural for some of the subway stations, and it was me and one of my other classmates who got chosen from St. Pat's. So that was really great. And from that moment, I just knew I wanted to do arts. I wasn't sure how I was going to navigate doing arts, but I knew I wanted to do arts in any capacity I went to school for, acting, and I did theater for a while. But anything arts related, I knew that I really wanted to do it. So I just took the leap of faith with that. But that's how I got started in the arts.
Oh, that's so cool. So, may I ask how old are you now?
I'm 26 now.
You're 26. So, that's not like a 13-year career in the arts. We're just going
It
to throw
is.
that out there, right?
I
13
didn't think
and
about that.
yes, 13 years career in the art and training and developing. And so tell me where you're at now.
So right now, I've started to look into doing entrepreneurship. For a while, I was working, in events for, working with the city still on event like projects as a manager and dealing with more like Patreon client services. And I worked with George Brown, which is just a college here, doing events for a while. And I started helping my mom out with events. And I realized that like I can kind of put in like every single one of the artistic things that I'm interested in. I can kind of find a way to navigate that within doing events for the city, for youth, for people who just want like an outlet to like share things and to express themselves. I found myself really passionate about that. And so that's where I'm kind of at right now. The transition was kind of seamless in a sense because I feel like as an artist, you're already used to constantly being like an entrepreneur because you're the one pushing your own art, you're making your own schedule, you're doing everything on your own. So these skills have just
Exactly.
translated now into something bigger, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So where would you like to see this go? Where would you like to see, how would you like to see this play out over the next 2, 5, 10 years? If you could wave a magic wand and there was no limits.
If I can wave a magic wand, the goal would be for me to work on doing movies and on sets with my production business. So it would be like I still do events for companies and birthday parties and such, but we would expand to the point where we would actually create our own movie, our own TV show, and work with some people that I'm like really so interested in working with, like Issa Rae, other people who have started kind of similar to like my journey and have like similar passions. So Issa Rae, Taraji P. Henson, I really want to work with in my lifetime. And yeah, just some of the greats. I would love to work with them.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you call them the greats because that's where you're intending to go. So,
Yes.
what are you doing now to get to that place?
So right now we've started off doing. It actually took a turn in a way because we were doing something that I wanted to ground the business in something that is personal to me. So I did a fitness workshop on. It was in February on the 22nd, which was St. Lucia's Independence Day. I'm St. Lucian, so that worked well with the business. Um,
Really? And wait, you went from St. Lucia to Toronto. That I
my
just
mom
feel
did.
like that's oh that
My mom
I'm
did.
struggling with that, but that's okay. I'm like, what? Oh,
Yes. You can ask my mom about that decision because that was hers. I wouldn't have made the same decision, but she did. So I'm here in Toronto
so
because my mom.
I'm like, maybe you can go back to St. Lucia. Let's build a business there. I bet they need events, they need wedding planners, they need all sorts of events coordinating in
Well,
St. Lucia. I
if you
support you
know
on this if
anything,
you ever decide to do that.
I would love to work with St. Lucia's Carnival. That would be a dream too. Like I would love to do some carnival stuff with them because I feel like that's like the best. We have so many St. Lucians in Toronto that need to be more acquitted within their culture. I think it would be perfect for us to work together. So hopefully if you know somebody, just mention that, I'm willing to work with them and see what we could do. Yeah.
How about this? Why don't we do a little go on Perplexity and just
Yes.
ask who the person is and how to get a hold of them and just reach out. Oh,
Yeah.
write that
Absolutely.
down. Write that down. Just write
I'm
that
gonna
down. Go
write
ahead.
it down.
I'll take a pause. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to write that down.
Absolutely. I'm gonna write it down right now. I need to figure out, yes, how to do that because that would be great. St. Lucia Carnival. But that would be great because I love Carnival, but I think that there's like, when it comes to Caribbean culture, there's a lot of like misunderstandings as far as the intent behind things. And it's very easy for people who aren't involved in the culture to make assumptions about why we're doing certain things. But there's actually a history and it's very interesting. And so I really want like people who are St. Lucian or people from around the world who just are inquiring to have the knowledge when they're not from the island of what we do. That would be really great. And me being in Toronto, I can expand a little bit and, teach our fellow Canadian St. Lucian people a little bit more about our culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it is a destination hotspot, right? So,
It
and it's become
is.
more than it's ever been. And the fact that people tour, the reason they tour is to gain experiences and to learn. And if
Exactly.
there's not that, if folks aren't communicating like the truth and the story and the background and the history that makes it the richness that it is, people
Yeah,
are missing out. And I think people want it, and there's not as great of a communication on that. And if
exactly.
and the fact that you know how to tell a story through art to
Yeah,
captivate people, it's absolutely beautiful, and there's incredible opportunity for you there. So I'm excited for that for you.
absolutely. I hope to see you. We should do like a retreat and you should be there. Because St. Lucia's food actually has no added preservatives at all. So if you want like a natural, holistic retreat to just refresh yourself, that's the best place to go.
Oh,
Like
I
you're doing,
have family who has a place there, and they absolutely love everything about it.
yeah,
Well,
it's great.
okay. They tell me off the beach, like in front of their place, there's dolphins that come visit them. They
Yeah,
have their pet dolphin, essentially. It's not a pet dolphin, but it's kind of
yeah,
like when the dolphin comes and says hi to you on the regular, it
yeah.
might as well just be your pet dolphin. You just don't have to feed them
It's
or
part of
maintain them or do anything.
it's literally part of the family now. You have to just, yes, every morning we know the dolphins come. And dolphins are extremely intelligent. So that's a great friend to have, if any.
Oh, I think it's absolutely magical, and I support you going to St. Lucia and out of the cold of Toronto. Yes,
Thank you.
to
Yes.
the sun and the warmth. So, okay, so we're going to help folks understand the culture of St. Lucia, the background, your parents, your mom. I don't know. Your father, what's your father's back? Your
Oh,
mom's
he's
St.
also
Lucia
St.
and your,
Lucian. They're both
he's
St.
what?
Lucian. They're both St.
Oh,
Lucian. Yes.
oh my goodness. I'm like, maybe
I
he's
was
Canadian. Maybe that's why you're in Toronto. Maybe he's Canadian. No, they both left and came to
and
Canada.
I was
Oh,
born in St. Lucia, and we immigrated here, and then I became a citizen here. But I'm also St. Lucian, like for real. Like I was born there, but I have a
so
citizenship.
do you have dual citizenship?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the things you're going to do, Kizzie.
Thank
Take advantage of all those opportunities. How fantastic. That's
Yes.
exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thank
So,
you.
and it's funny. I have found some of the best ideas that people execute on. And I always joke around, if it's on a napkin, oh, if you're writing ideas and plans and visions and just getting the basics out on a napkin. Because I mean,
Yeah.
how big is a napkin? I'm like this. If you can write it on this napkin, maybe a few of these, like
Yeah.
fronts, like that's a solid business plan. Then everything else is in the details and
Exactly.
executing it.
I agree.
So, oh man, maybe you can partner with a travel agency and go
I
back
really
and forth to St. Lucia.
Yes. I would really love that.
Okay, magic wand. We talked about that one. Let's keep going. Let's keep expanding because I'm loving your dreams.
Yes, so idealistically, I would really love to work on some films and movies. I would like to write my own script and just create stories that are specific to people from Toronto. I feel as though like we have a lot of different backgrounds here, and sometimes when we're watching television shows that are based of like American culture or North American culture,
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily have like a specification that the people of Toronto actually face on their day to day and what it looks like. Like if we when you're looking at like movies and TV shows about like colleges and post-secondary education, most of it is like, oh, they go away to go to college and they're like in these frat houses and there's all these things going on. But that's not the reality for most Canadians. Like we don't really do that. Most of us are going to college from home or living on a dorm, um, or just living in like a random housing section that's sub housing for like students or something. So it's very
I think
different.
that's the
There's
way most Americans do it too.
no, but like when you see like the movies and stuff, I feel like it's such a specific like this is the LA culture, this is the Chicago culture, and then
Mm.
we're not seeing a lot of we had like Degrassi and certain shows that kind of were specific. Like you'd see the TV shows and you're like, I recognize that area. Like that's like I want more relatable things for our youth so that we're not trying to emulate someone else's
Mm.
culture rather than we can relate to like the actual things that we face here in Toronto because it's very different from,
I love
you know,
that. So, what are you doing towards that?
I am right now. I'm looking to start to connect with people to create short films. I don't have a lot of experience being behind the cameras as I do in being in front of it. So I'm interested in working with other people who are also up and coming so that I can, you know, really just learn the in and outs of what it's like to work behind the scenes. I'm also taking a couple courses on IT and tech so that I can learn how to you know, edit software and store things properly and just know what I'm talking about because I like to be as educated as possible in anything that I do so that I'm aware of what's going on. If I'm hiring someone for something, I want to know why I'm doing that. So right now I'm in the process of learning as far as that goes. I'm planning my regular events that I do within the community. So I'm like talking to people, and as I'm doing that and networking, I'm also building on my long-term goal, which is essentially to make films and to work in the industry in that way.
That's fantastic. Are you filming your events and the day to days as well?
I
Are you just
do.
doing like micro shorts as well? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm letting people. I just started doing that this year because I realized that some people have a perception that everything's just like all together. And I feel like when you're working as an entrepreneur, their days are not just like, they're not just like, this is what's going on. It's everything is always progressive and you're always doing well. there are days where you're just like, you are everything. You are the producer, the event planner, you're the budget person, the marketing person, you are everything. And you just don't have the time, or sometimes you just have questions. So I try to use my social medias to ask people questions to see like how do they feel, connect with fellow entrepreneurs. So yeah, I do the day-to-day life. I still work my regular 9 to 5 sometimes. So I'll film myself like I'm at work on my lunch break doing my makeup so that I can go to my event in like 30 minutes after. So I film all of that because I want people to know the real background of what goes on when I'm like how dedicated and how focused I am to achieve my goals.
I love that so much. And what do you think is your biggest challenge and in where you're at now?
I think my biggest challenge right now is just to build a community, I guess. I wouldn't call it like a challenge. It's just something that I have to like go on head first. I really want to build a community first, before I start like looking at other things because I feel like it's so important to have like a strong group of people who believe in what you're doing. So I think finding people who are passionate as well about what you're doing, it could be a little bit challenging sometimes because people are not seeing the end goal that you're seeing. But it's my responsibility to ensure that I let people know what my goal is, how I could utilize their goals within my own, and how we can work together to essentially like both achieve our goals. So I think building a community, it's hard to find the community, but it's been really great once I found a couple people. I'm like, this is a nice weight lifted
They're
off
my
my
people. They're
my
my
people.
people.
I found some amazing people that they were vendors at my first event that I did on February 22nd, and they were just supposed to be vendors, pop up, sell their stuff, and go. They came, they helped me, they helped me set up. They gave me a lot of knowledge. They said, do not look at success as a monetary benefit. Look at it as you have all these people who believe in you, who purchased a ticket, who showed up, who volunteered, like who are making films, like video. You don't know who people know. They gave me so many gems. They were amazing. And I'm actually working with all those same people again on a couple of events I have coming up this month. So thankful for community. It's the best thing ever. And I really do appreciate everyone who came out and supported me as I always do. So,
I love that. So, and I love that because somebody poured into them.
yes.
Now they poured into you, and
Mhm.
soon you'll overflow and you'll pour into others, which is the whole
Exactly.
concept, right?
Which is an amazing concept too, by the way. But yes, they
Thank you.
definitely poured into me. There was a moment where, for sure, where I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know about these ticket sales. Do I still do the event? Do I not? And they're like, listen, if one person shows up, we're doing this event. I said, okay,
That's right.
that's all I need to hear. And then we ended up selling out. So that was amazing. But prior to that, there was a moment. There was a slight moment where I was like, ooh, I don't know. But I was definitely having the community there. They definitely spoke life into me, and I started to believe in myself again, and it was amazing. I really needed that support in that time, so I really appreciate all of them.
You know, it's funny, people that do events, we all say the same thing. It's like we stress. We haven't sold tickets, like barely, like they trickle in, and then like sometimes like 2 days before, the day of, and then you're like, wait, where were you guys? We're sold out. Like, why didn't you buy it a month ago? We had one
Yes,
time somebody were like, they came day of, and they're like, we can't find parking. We're like, hey, somebody's car's about to get towed. And we
yeah,
were stressed about that event. And that happens. So for folks who put on events, don't stress. And I think you gave the best advice that I think people overlook is like, if one person shows up, you
yeah,
put on the best performance you've ever put on for that one person,
absolutely.
because that's all it's for. So that's fantastic. That is a great tip, great advice there.
Yes,
Phenomenal nuggets. So I love that you're building community. I think people feel the same way. So, and a lot of it is you're putting yourself out there, and what you're finding is your people show up,
yeah.
and then you do it again, and that's how your community grows. What would you say is your other challenge that you're would like to overcome?
I think maybe some more time management. I feel like I can always improve in time management. So I'm always willing to do that. I don't think it's necessarily like I'm getting everything done on time, but it's also just allowing myself to take a little moment for me because my days are so jam packed. Like where I wake up in the morning, I'm responding to emails right away, and then I physically go out, I do stuff for certain events, and then I'm, having meetings, I'm doing things, and I'm finding that like my personal life is like on the back burner a little bit. So I think
Mhm.
me like trying to like delegate like okay, you need to pour into yourself so that you can pour into your business. It's really it's a bit challenging, but I am willing to work on that. So we are going to get some more managing of the time done for sure.
I love that. How do you prioritize the most important items that must be done first? How do you identify your priorities so
Hmm.
that you do put them in your time block versus just whatever emergency fire comes up?
I think that usually, so I've actually developed a like a from when I have the idea of the event up until the event, I have a guideline of how I do things. So
Hmm.
the idea comes up, I look at how can I realistically do this event or when the event is. If I have an event at the end of the month and I have an event coming up this weekend, there are things where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I do orders for that end of the month event right now. As I'm doing these orders, I'm already on the computer. So this is the time to respond to emails. This is the time to utilize the fact that I'm already on here. Once I get off the computer, if I'm like deciding I'm going to go to the gym or something, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. On the way back from the gym, I'll go to like pick up whatever it is that I need to pick up for whatever event it is. So it's really just on a need, like a basis of what do I need to complete for my personal life and what can I add on to that I
Okay.
have to do.
So you
And
batch it.
I batch it together. I batch like a lot of things together, like a lot.
That's
Yeah.
smart. So you've read Atomic Habits because that's one of the habits that they recommend.
Yes.
So I love that you do that.
Yeah.
Anything else that helps you keep your priorities and keeps you from being scattered and all over the place? And
I found this girl on TikTok. It was like last year, or I think it was like 2 years ago. So I make like vision boards every year, and she's like, "Do you want to take your vision board up one notch?" And I was like, "Okay." And she had showed us that in businesses, people usually do their quarterly goals. So they'll break the year up into four main categories, and they'll say what they want to
Mhm.
complete for each category. So based off of that, I have like subcategories of things that I have to do right away. So it's like if I have to respond to an email or make an order for something, I'm going to respond to the email first because it's urgent, and I will do the ordering later on. And maybe, like I said, with batching, I'll do like batching and like eating my lunch and responding to emails at the same time. So stuff like that, I try to prioritize like what needs to be done today or else, and what can I leave for tomorrow. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much how I try to prioritize things. And what I think is like if I'm doing like a market, for instance, which I have a market coming up soon, and somebody's like, "Hey, I need more information on the market," I need to send that right
Mhm.
away before they lose interest. So that's how I do that. Like I'm like I know I
And
need
I'm sure
people to.
you have like and I'm sure you have templates as set up as well because a lot of this is rinse and repeat.
Yes, I have my template. I also have like my vendor packages ready. And I also tell people that, if you need any accommodations, just communicate with me. Like, I'm pretty like flexible and lenient. I just need to know what's going on. I have a requirement like
Communication. Like it's
communication.
funny. Just communicate. And I think that's true to everything. I'm finding a theme. Building your community.
Yeah,
There you put yourself out there to where and you assert yourself to communicate.
yeah,
And the same thing, you're like, I can accommodate, just assert yourself and communicate with me. So there's that asserting yourself to communicate so that the world can respond and kind of
yeah.
and offer what the universe wants to give you anyway. So I absolutely love that. So before we wrap up today, what can we talk what else would you like to talk about?
I know I mentioned earlier, well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for given me a platform to speak a little bit about my business, about myself, and my thought process with things. I do appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Like
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
been wonderful the entire time. Your communication skills are top tier. So just giving you that round of applause for yourself.
Oh,
Amazing.
thank you.
Thank you. Because everything was super clear.
It's
Like everything was broken
for
down. I can
us.
understand. Yeah. Yeah. So I really appreciate that part. Also, yeah, I just I'm constantly looking for more people to work with and people to connect with. So regardless of where you're at in the world, you never know. I would love to like connect with a lot of people. So I think speaking to people, learning more about other people's cultures and things that's going around the world, I think that can. I'm always looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming and thanks for joining today.
Thank you so much.